we look forward to seeing you guys down at Equip Expo 2023, October 17th through the 20th. Guys, don't forget to use promo code Brian to register and save your guys' self 50% all summer long. Get those tickets ASAP. And by the way, we do earn a little bit of a kickback, and that goes right into supporting the show, supporting the podcast, and the YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much in advance if you happen to use our code. And don't forget to register you and each individual that you got to bring for your team. You got to register each person separately.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, I wanted to just take a couple quick minutes on today's podcast episode and kind of cut right to the chase, and no real fluff on today's show. Just talk about exhaustion, talk about overwhelm, talk about the fact that so many of us have been having a pretty strenuous and maybe stressful last 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks of the season, and the spring rush, trying to quote unquote getting up over the hump. Liz and I are actually going to be going on a little 3-day, vacation and getaway here in about 2 weeks, and we need that because we always know in March, April, May, and the first part of June, it can be pretty overwhelming. It can be pretty hectic, and that's something that we do to get away, just because, like I said, it's tiring. It's exhausting. It can be stressful. And even if you have the best business and the best systems and the best whatever, there's just a lot of work to get done in a short period of time, and it can really weigh on you, right? It can really eat away at your excitement for your business if you let it. And if you let it is probably the key phrase there, because as long as you know that you're going into the fray, if you're going into the thick of it, and you know that it's going to be an overwhelming season, you can prepare for that and also have hope and understanding that it is just a season. And shortly thereafter, you will be out of that season and into the next season, and you'll look back on it and go, holy crap, that was wild. But if you're not prepared for it, it can feel like overwhelm, exhaustion. It can feel like hopelessness or despair, right? And so the reason I wanted to talk about some of those topics maybe for just a quick minute is talking to my wife, just saying like, man, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It's been a wild couple of weeks. Talking to the crew, talking to the guys, they've been putting in some hours, and, the 90-degree heat has kicked in for us up here this last week. Very, very tough couple of days. Especially for the new guys, if you will. Actually got to bump into a friend of mine, Austin. A lot of you guys know Austin Douglas with Ditch the Itch. Great individual. And I got to show him actually through our house. He was in the area doing a quote for some poison ivy control, which was awesome. And I was just like, within 2 minutes of talking to him, I said, hey, man, you all right? Like, you okay? And I'm sure he doesn't mind me sharing this story, but he was like bloodshot eyes, very exhausted looking in a good way. I'm exhausted in a good way, right? And he's like, man, 10, 12-hour days, you get home at 7, 8 o'clock, try to be a good dad, try to be a good husband, and then do bids and quotes till midnight, 1, 2 sometimes, and then back at it again at 6, 7 in the morning. It can weigh in on you, right? And I said, yeah, can totally relate. And so actually did a coaching call with another friend of mine, buddy. He's out of Tennessee, and we're talking about a lot of the same topic. And so, look, if I'm feeling this way, I meet a friend in person who's feeling this way. We're doing a coaching call, trying to navigate through some of these conversations, feeling the same way. I'm feeling, hey, it's like one of those, if you see one, then you see 1,000 of it, right? Just like you see an ant crawling through your house, you're like, oh boy, if I see one, I probably got 1,000 behind that one, which actually real life practical story, just to slow down, dealing with some ants in our bathroom, just out of nowhere. That was a ridiculous event over the weekend. And if you've never had ants, pray that you never have ants ever again. But I'm like, what the heck is going on around here? We found one, we found 10, and then I put out some bait traps over the weekend. And holy Jesus, when you see like 200 of them or whatever it is, come out of the cracks in the woodwork, and got one of those poison bait type traps, the little liquid ones you get on Amazon. I'm like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. And Yeah, bugs are crazy. And so that was a new one. A couple other quick fun stories, which is not funny, is our dog got into a bag of I don't even know what they are, some kind of gummy chew that Liz had on her vanity. And couldn't have been more than 10 gummies left in this bag. Anyway, dog just out of nowhere. He's not really a counter surfer, but ravaged this bag and ate like 10 magnesium type gummies, whatever they were. Had to call the pet vet, pet poison control, all this other stuff. Wake up the next morning. Dog should be okay, it says the pet vet people. Wake up next morning to a literal 3-foot circle of green puke and throw up in our living room, pee in a couple different spots. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So if you guys are out there and you're struggling, if it's like overwhelm, if you're like, what are we doing with, I'm dealing with ants, I'm dealing with dog puke, I'm dealing with customer stuff, I'm dealing with this stuff, I'm dealing with that stuff. And you're just like, I don't know if you guys can relate, man. Sometimes it's like you're spinning 2, 3, 4 plates, 10 plates, and 2 or 3 are getting wobbly. 1 or 2 might have fell off and crashed. And you're just like, man, could I use a reset? It would be nice to just have like a reset button. That's kind of what it's felt like for Liz and I these last couple of weeks. We're fronting tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars in labor, landscape supplies, all this other stuff. We're finishing up end of month billing for May, absolutely having our biggest, best month ever. Praise the Lord. But it's like you just see the checking account go up and down like it's like the prices on Wall Street. It's just it's a crazy, crazy time of year, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate with life stuff with kids. There's a whole nother crazy story about some stuff was going on at the gymnastics class that we take our daughter to. I'm not even going to get into a story, but like the photographer they hired or that they've used had some sketchy background. And so the FBI was involved and we're getting notified of these emails. Thankfully, Emmy was never part of any of this, but dude, just wild and crazy stuff. And I'm like, what is this last week? What is this last couple of weeks? Right. And so we're going to shift gears in just a quick second and kind of light it up, but it's like, it's overwhelm. It's stress. It can be anxiety. I was having some anxiety just last week. Like my chest literally felt like I had a 135 pound barbell, stacked up vertical on top of me, just pushing down. And I told Liz, I said, I don't feel right. And she's like, yeah, it's stress. It's anxiety. It's a busy time of year. And, so I just wanted to relate. If any of you guys have any of the above, or if you got one of the 10 things going on like that, hey, it's part of the season. It's just part of the spring rush. Yes, there's some things that we can navigate, and maybe there's something that we could improve upon with our business model, for sure. Is there something that we can improve upon with our relationships with our spouses or expectations or communication? For sure. Is there some things that we probably need to work on? Maybe at the home front, maybe, we should have called Orkin or something like that to have some perimeter pest control sprayed. And yeah, for sure. Now, we live in a glorified apartment, so that's not really on us. We already called maintenance, and not only are we on top of it, they're already on top of it, but for sure. And so the quick point is that, dude, it can be a crazy 8, 10, 12 week part of the season. But I just want to give you guys some hope and just give you guys some encouragement. As somebody who's been through 16 spring rushes, they're all very, very similar in nature. It's all hands on deck. There's never enough labor. Doesn't seem to be enough time in the day. Thank God for lighter days, longer, lighter days, whatever you want to call it, where it doesn't get sunset till 8, 9, p.m. here in Michigan sometimes. Thank God, because sometimes we need that bandwidth. We've had the guys working out till 7:30 p.m. some nights because of rain or the holiday, with Memorial Day, a little this, a little that. And it's just practical stuff. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just the season that you're in. And if you go into the spring rush thinking it's all going to be easy or simple or hunky-dory, it might not be the case, right? So sometimes these things happen, they add up, they weigh in, and they weigh on you. But let me assure you, this season too shall pass. And it's just a quick 8 to 10, 12 weeks. And you know what? Sometimes it's okay. It makes you feel alive. It makes you start thinking about ways to approach things differently. And so sometimes innovation comes out of the mother of all, necessity or whatever the line is. And so you're like, well, things have got to change and I got to shore up this and I got to change something that for sure. And it really gets your brain thinking when you're under overwhelm about how to implement or adopt or change some of these different things in your life or in your business or in your relationships, right? So that's really where I wanted to leave that first part of this conversation. I'm going to break it up, kind of change it up. It's not going to be a super heavy episode today. We're going to kind of just give you a swift kick in the butt and let you also know that, hey, we're right there with you, give you some hope as well. But let's do this really quick. There's a lot going on here in the Fullerton Unfiltered realm, the lawn care, landscaping community, so many great things going on. I want to highlight some of those things here in just a quick second. So don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements, guys, and we're going to come right on back.
Since 1982, Exmark has been dedicated to building the world's finest mowers. These machines provide you with a quality of cut that seems impossible, dependability you can measure in lifetimes, and an operator experience like none other. Because Exmark believes if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Visit your local dealer to discover a one-of-a-kind ownership experience and see the difference for yourself.
So here's a couple things that I wanted to kind of touch base with you guys and just give you a quick little for instance and a couple quick pieces of information. We're just going to go through this really fast. Number one, on the high level of like Mayday, SOS, ring the alarm bells. This is your last day to get them. It is tickets for Together in the Trades. Literally only a handful of them left, which is super exciting. And I'm not a big sell you or convince you on going to any live event, especially not Together in the Trades. If you want to go, you want to go. If you don't want to go, that's totally fine too. But Together in the Trades is where you guys know that we have a marriage conference, a summit for couples in business that we co-host with Caleb and Brittany Allman and my wife and Liz and myself. We absolutely love it. It has been a passion project for us. And the mission is to help beat 50%. It is to help you guys strengthen and grow your relationships with your significant other. And one of Caleb's great lines is, whether you're in business or not, you bring that business home, you bring your career home. And even if you don't help in the business, you're still part of the business and you guys are still in business together. And we want to give you guys some practical tips, relate with you. Let's all go work on it and strengthen our marriage. Let's go learn from some of the best of the best, some great counselors, some great psychologists. We've had some personality coaches in, we've had motivational speakers in, we've had people like you guys listening in that have been married for 10, 20, 30 years and can relate some practical stories all in to share. This year it's at Big Sky, Montana, which from what I hear is an absolute beautiful area. And I cannot wait to go check out that whole like resort area. It's going to be a really, really good time. Togetherinthetrades.com is where you guys can get your tickets. Like I said, for real, there's only a handful left. And if you're going, you're excited. And if you're on the fence, hey, it's just a decision away. And I know people say stuff like that and you're like, it's just a decision away. What does that really mean? It means you decide that you're going to be there. That's it. It's, hey, you know what? Later tonight, I'm going to go to the website. I'm actually going to put 2 in the cart. I'm going to hit checkout. I'm going to go to delta.com, figure out some flights, go check out the hotel that we have when you get access to the private Facebook group and all that other fun stuff. And you guys are there. It's just a decision. Hey, who goes to this stuff? Well, you listening in, the people who decide to go. It doesn't have to be any one person where you get tapped on your shoulder and anointed to go to a special conference, to go to a Together in the Trades or a Law Entrepreneur Academy or an Equip Expo. It's for you. It's for all of you guys listening in. And for a podcast that gets 100,000 downloads a month or plus or minus, to bring 125 people to the conference over there in Big Sky, Montana, shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Okay. So all of you guys that are going and have answered the call and you guys want to go, just have a little bit of a retreat, a little bit of fun, maybe make a couple days out of it, maybe even make a week out of it. We invite you guys to get your tickets today, post haste. I mean, even hit pause on the podcast and go pick them up now, because today is the last day for them and there won't be tickets available after that. By the way, quick little side note, just to spend a couple minutes on this, is if you guys are going, we got to get hotels finished up and locked in by June 9th. I think that's this upcoming Friday. So if you guys are coming together in trades, make sure you reservation. Make sure you reservation your hotel by Friday on June 9th, because once that date passes, we release any of the leftover rooms back to the general public for the hotel for them to just book and sell off, obviously. And so long story short, if you try to book outside of the room block, or at a different hotel in the area, you're going to notice that the rates are significantly higher. Like I think double, because Liz and I tried to book a couple extra rooms the week of, like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they were like double the price. And I'm like, holy cow. Two parts. One, holy cow, the retail rate is crazy. Holy cow. Number two, thank God we negotiated basically half off the price of the regular rooms for anybody staying for that, I think Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, whatever it is. The conference is on a Friday, Saturday. So any which way, it's a great deal. So if you've ever wanted to get to Big Sky, Montana, and you're like, hey, getting out there could be expensive for hotels, hey, come with our group and you can save a little bit of money. And if you're learning business and whatnot for about 2 days or more than half a day for each day that you're there, more than likely you should be able to write that trip off, talk to your accountant, and you'll be able to not only see Big Sky, Montana, but also strengthen your relationship and have a nice size tax write-off and deduction on your business this summer, okay? So just some things to consider. Another quick thing is Equip Expo. A lot of you guys have been picking up your registration for that. You guys can use promo code Brian, save 50%. Any which way, long story short, a lot of you guys know Equip Expo. If you've never been, we'll do a whole nother breakdown on that whole conference. And it's the biggest trade show of the year for lawn and landscape pros. Every company that's a company that is trying to sell you guys a lawnmower or a fertilizer spreader or hardscape lighting and everything in between. They will be in Louisville, Kentucky. I think it's October 17th through the 20th this year, and it's going to be a really, really good time. We'll leave links in the description for all this stuff, but just a quick friendly reminder to make sure you guys get your tickets. Don't let that stuff fall through the cracks. Last thing, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit more about business, is people have been asking me when our Launchpreneur Academy tickets going on sale. The quick answer is I'm still updating the website, making sure that we can get everything working and just getting ready to open that stuff up. And for the flood of registrations that usually comes that first day, about 50 of you guys, typically of the 350 people that come to the conference register the day of. So I just want to make sure all of our P's and Q's are working. And when you do register, everything is all set up. We don't have full-time, staff that necessarily puts all this together. So we are doing our best to make sure that it all runs smoothly. Any which way, I'm hoping to get those set up here in the next week or two and probably have tickets available by mid to late June, right when we're rocking the Launchpreneur Academy Launchpreneur series for the teenager series that we're going to be doing again this summer. By the way, we already have the 6 guests picked out. So if you guys want to be maybe a future tour member, shoot me an email, keep in touch, shoot me a message on IG. But I do have the 6 teenagers already picked out this year that we're going to be highlighting. And it's going to be a rocking good time. All right, so let's go back to just talking a couple quick business things, and we'll kind of wrap this podcast up for the day, just try to keep it short and sweet. But one thing I wanted to talk about was this was kind of piggybacking on a coaching call that I did last Thursday. Is if you're not happy with how your spring rush is going, or how your business is going, or how your season is going, or how the last couple of seasons of your business have been going, I want you guys to not just be so stuck in the day-to-day, the working in your business versus on your business part. And I really want to speak to that for just a quick second, because if there's something wrong in terms of what's the best way to say it? And I'm not here to be, any guru thought of the day. That maybe we can coin that. Here's your guru thought of the day. But if there are things that you're not liking about your business, you have to obviously spend time fixing that part of your company, right? It's the good old, what do you like? What are you good at? And anything you don't like, you need to hire out, fix, systematize away from you. And so the reason I say that is because some of you guys last year had a really crummy summer based on the weather. And it was a very dry summer across the Midwest and many other portions of the country, not a lot of rain. And, and my company was doing this exact same stuff. I've said this many times long ago. We were in all the trailer parks in my area, including the trailer park that I had grown up in. And once the first 8-10 weeks of the season, we were crushing it. Crazy numbers, good revenue, good production, blah, blah, blah. But the problem was that once the summer heat hit, all that stuff dried up, and we went from weekly cuts down to monthly cuts. And or skipping a month entirely. And you want to talk about cash flow just being ridiculous. That was a challenge. That was a struggle. But I had realized that it couldn't be this way forever. And I said, I need to get into the nicer lawns, the nicer subdivisions that irrigate and fertilize regularly. That way we can have regular cash flow and regular revenue, because I have regular bills. I need regular cash flow. I have regular overhead, and I want to make regular profit. I wanted to psychoanalyze and rebuild my business model. And I wanted to hold up a perfect business model and said, if I was going to redesign my company or design my company, or if I wanted to fix something in my company, what did I want to model, right? What did I want to model? What did I want to have my company look like? And frankly, some of that was little tweaks. Some of that was big tweaks. Some of that was, setting dynamite and exploding the foundation and then having to rebuild from the ground up. And some things were just hard pivots, man. A lot of hard pivots. For example, we were doing 120 residentials and we are now down to like 70, 75. And we went from, some lawns not being irrigated with low prices to most of our lawns being irrigated with premium or high prices. We went from, 6 commercials up to 20 plus commercial accounts, whatever it is now. We went from sporadic services being offered at a couple of commercial sites to pretty full service, like 6 or 7 or 8 out of 8 services, including salt and snow for some of the commercial sites. And so this is I'm talking to you guys practically speaking. I'm not trying to be a guru here. I'm just saying, hey, if there's things that you're not liking in your business, it's okay to change it. It's okay to hard pivot. It's okay to start psychoanalyzing your company a little bit and saying, I don't want it to be this way ever again. And let that be the catalyst for you to not be here next year. And I hope that's just an encouraging word, because that's some of the conversation I've been talking to a couple of people lately, including myself, as I'm talking to other coaches and mentors of mine. Had some great conversations last week with some very successful people, and similarly. And these are just some of the things that I'm working through, and I would encourage you guys to work through. So let me give you guys a for instance. Maybe last summer, it was hot, it was dry, no rain, no irrigation, and revenue took a huge hit. And now this year, of course, we're going into June, July. It's hot. The lawns are drying out, and you're like, man, all my lawns are burned out and my cash flow is going to take a dip, and I'm keeping guys on payroll, or I'm trying to grow, or the work's just not there. And you guys can imagine, right? Like, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. What did we do between the last year complaining? And trust me, I'm here to complain with you. I've complained. I don't mind complaining. I have no problem with people complaining as long as you come with me also with solutions. If you're just going to complain, unfortunately, I'm not your guy. If you want to complain and then let's get better, hey, I'll sit in the puddle of misery with you for a few minutes too. But eventually, we got to dust ourselves off, and we got to get up off of it and get up on it and start rocking and rolling and moving this thing forward. And so, my point is, if you're like, I can't believe all my lawns dried out last year, and I went from $10,000 a month in maintenance mowing, money to $3,000. And then 12 months later, we're knocking on the doorstep of the exact same conversation. Again, we have to be mature in how we approach a real company. We can't just say, boy, I hope, throwing the dice that we have a cool summer in 70s and 80s and 90s, and whatever that is for your area. And we just hope that the lawns are going to stay wet, stay watered, stay green, and we can have weekly maintenance mowing. Does that make sense? So similarly, I got people that are like, hey, my cash flow is crazy because we didn't get paid from a certain couple of jobs, or we lost money in some different things. Hey, that's okay. It's not okay forever, but it's, things happen. Let's talk about how we can revisit how we charge our customers with taking 5 draws instead of 1 or 3 draws on a landscape project. Caleb and Brady Allman talk about that quite a bit on their podcast, the Kid Contractor podcast. Hey, maybe it's a 10% deposit to get you on the schedule, 20% when stuff shows up, 20% when we're halfway through completion, 20% when we're this close, and then the last 15% is, or whatever the numbers are, the last 15% is your punch out, or 10% is your punch out. Instead of saying, hey, collecting no money up front, and you're doing this $25,000 job, and you're, fronting $9,000 worth of labor and hardscape materials, right? So my point is, you don't have to tolerate that, right? Keith Kalfas has got a great line. He's like, what you tolerate, you get more of. And it's true. And so the same thing, you're like, I'm doing these landscaping jobs, but man, it costs a lot of money. They're jackpot jobs. They make me a lot of money, but I'm really exposed, right? I'm fronting a lot of time, money, labor, material risk. Well, mitigate that risk, right? I don't mind you guys doing a $25,000 job, or us doing a $25,000 job. We don't do anything like that typically. We're more maintenance company. But if I was going to do a $25,000 job, there's no way I'm going to be like half now, half done. I'd be like, no, we want $5,000, every week for that 5 weeks, right? Once we hit certain benchmarks or whatever it might be. So these are just some things I'm talking out loud, like, your maintenance. Instead of going from customers that are rural and you're like, man, I scored, $100 an acre, but that lawn's going to burn out in June. Maybe do the less sexy lawns and go do some subdivision lawns or some commercial properties with irrigation or whatever it might be, right? Just, it doesn't have to be an overnight thing. It's not going to be an instant fix, but work towards the goal of working towards your perfect business model, right? And maybe you want to have regular reoccurring revenue. I would imagine you do. That's what we do. Start working towards the kind of customers that would deliver that kind of result. Same thing with landscaping. Maybe with how your payment terms are set up or how you're billing. Maybe you're doing end of month right now, or you're just finishing it up and you just billed out $10,000 in weekly maintenance for the month, obviously. But you're only going to get 2,000 or 3,000 of it. And you're like, dude, I got payroll due. Have we adopted adding a charge card on file? I'm pretty sure we've championed that message more than anybody I know in social media world, putting out content that says, if you don't have a charge card on file, you don't get to sign up with our company. There's no other way to pay for our company. If we sign you up, we cut, trim, blow, we bi-weekly edge. We're normally there on Thursdays. For billing, we simply do a charge card on file. We put you into our system. We'll send you a credit card on file link. You populate a card via email, click save. You're good to go. And then we cash out on the last day of the month for all the work that we do. Landscaping, we bill at the time of. Extra services, we bill at the time of. We don't leave a $350 spring cleanup and invoice net 7, net 14, net 21, net 30. That's just not a thing. If we do the work, we get paid. Again, no other industry extends as much credit as we do, besides maybe pizza. And I joke all the time that if it's a $50 or more, order for pizza, typically they're going to ask you to put a card on file to secure the order. Does that make sense? So even they're like, hey, we're going to start shoring that up. These are just some helpful tips, some helpful things. Like if you haven't adopted a credit card on file system, look, if you want to complain, that's fine. But if you complain and then don't change, it's like the old saying, like, what's worse, somebody that can't read or somebody that can read and chooses not to, right? Like, you've heard the messages, you listen to the podcast, you're getting all encouraged and all fired up, but let yourself be a person of action, not just a person who hears, right? Not just a person who listens, but somebody who implements. And you can do that with the next customer that waves you down and says, hey, can we sign up for weekly maintenance? And you say, well, I don't have a single person card on file. This is where you start. You start with one. Okay. You start with one, then you start with the next one, and you so on and so forth. And that's how you gain personal momentum in your life and in your business, by having these small wins. And then eventually you let this thing spiral out of control in a good way into creating like unstoppable momentum in your life, in your business, in your attitude. Okay. Again, Keith Kalfas, what you accept, what you tolerate, you'll get more of. Right. So anyway, I just want to give you guys some encouragement today that just to keep working towards a perfect business model. If there's things that are frustrating you in your company, maybe you don't like doing the billing, work on implementing a system or a structure or an approach that allows you to get out of the billing. Maybe you don't like bidding jobs. Maybe you don't like submitting quotes or bids, or let alone designing things. Maybe it's not fun to you, or you're not passionate about it, or not passionate about it anymore. That's okay. Work towards a perfect business model to get out of doing that. Hire your company, build your team, hire new people, subcontract, outsource. There's tons of things like that you can continue to work on in your business. And the reason I say that is because the spring rush can be so mentally draining, including physically draining, no doubt about it, but so mentally draining. And I would just encourage you guys to put your business under a microscope and say, what is the bottleneck? What is draining my life force? What is draining my energy? What is draining my energy? What is draining my attitude? And look, and if you're winning and things are awesome and you're great and things are amazing and you had the best month ever, dude, fantastic. I mean, like, that's how I am in one rowboat, one oar of the rowboat. And the other side of me is like, man, there's certain things that still burn me up, even to this day, of course, because I'm not a finished product. And I'm like, I'm going to fix this. We're going to eliminate that. No more of this. This is nonsensical. I can't believe I said yes. I broke that rule where I would always say no, or we don't do this anymore, or we're not doing that. Right? These are just some things to work on. Okay. So any which way, and I know a lot of you guys are having a great season, but can I just level with you guys? Can we just sometimes take off the facade, which we've never really portrayed one? It's been an exhausting 10, 12 weeks. I'm already tired. I'm already quote unquote burned out. Now I know how to reinvigorate myself, how to re-energize, how to lighten it up, how to have fun. Some of you guys, it might be a quick camping trip, a quick vacation, go shoot guns, go golf, go do something fun, go back out on the lake, go party, go spend a couple bucks that you did make and invest into yourself. Because again, as you guys know, and we've said it 100 times before, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. And we've sprinted this last 10, 12 weeks, a lot of us up until about holiday, Memorial Day, maybe even the first or second week of June. From there, let's make sure that we're just pacing. It's a marathon, one foot in front of the other. Don't quit the race because you're cramping up. Drink a little bit of a Gatorade, drink some water, and let's just keep putting one foot back in front of the other and keep moving forward. For Liz and I personally, we enjoyed this weekend. We had some friends that came and visited. It was a little bit of an energy reinvigoration and a boost. In 2 weeks, we're leaving to go to Bay Harbor, Michigan. It's just a little oasis place for us. And that's where we get to go to recharge and to get more excited. 2 or 3 weeks after that, we get to go to Big Sky, Montana. 2 or 3 weeks after that, we're going to Beatrice, Nebraska. 2 or 3 weeks after that, it's going to be Equip Expo. 2 to 3 weeks after that, it's Launchpreneur Academy, right? 2 or 3 weeks after that, we're going to be going to Florida. 2 or 3 weeks after that, we get to go to Park City, Utah. 2 or 3 weeks after that, we're probably going to go to Rosemary Beach, Florida. But this is something we have to do because, and again, it's just a practical thing that we have to do because Liz and I need to get away from the battlefield just to recharge. And we love what we do. But it's just, we found what works for us to keep us reinvigorated. And that allows us to give us the bandwidth and the excitement and the interest to come back and to work on our perfect business model. All right. That's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully that was just an encouraging word. I'm right there with you guys. It's been an exhausting stretch. If you guys are out there, shake it off. I'm out there with you. It's hot. The lawns are kind of getting a little cooked up, especially up here in Michigan. But we're continuing to work on the business to make sure that we can keep making gains and keep making progress. And that's what I got for you guys. One other quick thing. If you guys want to stay motivated, I just got to say a big shout out and thank you guys for picking up the audiobook of 0 to 100K. If you guys are new here, the podcast, it's called Lawns Lessons Life. It's all about helping you guys grow a more successful lawn and landscaping business, helping you guys grow. The theme, the mantra I've been running with this year is real, authentic lawn care. We're in the thick of it with you guys. Our revenue was up significantly in May. I mean, significantly, like double this year what we did last year. Okay. And people are like, little Fullerton with his little company, little Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and a ragtag team of 3 people. I'm like, look, dude, we'll put our company up against anybody out there right now. My guys are killing it. We've built an amazing team of guys this year, and we're just getting started. I couldn't be more thankful, more happy for them. But I'll tell you guys, if you want something that's encouraging, motivational, it's an hour and a half, and you get some X's and O's too. Pick up our audiobook, 0 to 100K. We'll leave a link in the description. A lot of you guys probably just had your credits renew for Audible. With I think is Amazon, right? So if you guys got a credit to use or a credit to burn, or maybe some of you guys have 5 or 6 credits still left over at the end of winter because you weren't maybe on the mower as much, obviously, and spending 6-8 hours a day with your headphones on. I would encourage you guys to check out the audiobook, 0 to 100K, and maybe pick up a copy on Amazon if you want a paperback, or if you just want to get the audiobook, whether you got an Audible membership or not. It's a credit or it's like $20. Okay. I just want to say, I really appreciate the support. Had a banger month last month selling quite a few books, which I never would have thought. We'd write a book. That's our book, 0 to 100K, the complete guide on how to start a successful lawn care landscaping company. All right, that's what I got for you guys. Make sure just a quick friendly reminder, you guys get your Equip tickets. Quick friendly reminder, you guys get your Together in the Trades tickets today. We're going to be shutting that down at midnight. And then look out for Launchpreneur Academy live tickets. The event will be on November 11th. We're looking for a new Friday night venue. I got something picked out that is going to blow your guys' mind. You absolutely will not want to miss it. We've been doing go-karts the last 2 years. We're going to shift gears. Actually, same area, same giant facility area, but we're going to go kitty corner across the street to something that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm still putting the final touches on, but that'll be a Friday night, totally free, totally included in your ticket at LAL. So make sure you guys come Friday night to pack it out. That's what I got for you guys. Hey, one other quick last thing. We are reinvigorating the Lawntrepreneur Academy Instagram page. Bethany, our social media manager, who's helping us out, she's been a huge blessing in our life. She is rocking and rolling, updating that so you guys can get some more latest and greatest in case you missed it kind of stuff. So give us a follow on IG at Brian's Lawn Maintenance, also at Lawntrepreneur Academy. And then also we're launching Fullerton Unfiltered, where we're going to be taking a lot of excerpts and clips from our show and then also the guests that we have and turning them into sound bites so you guys can check those out on the Fullerton Unfiltered Instagram page. So if you guys want to check that out, give us a follow. We'd super love and appreciate the support. That'll be going live here any day now if it's not already. All right, that's what I got for you guys. Over and out. You guys have a beautiful rest of the day, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on Wednesday.
Since 1982, Exmark has been dedicated to building the world's finest mowers. These machines provide you with a quality of cut that seems impossible, dependability you can measure in lifetimes, and an operator experience like none other. Because Exmark believes if something's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Visit your local dealer to discover a one-of-a-kind ownership experience and see the difference for yourself.
Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.